rookie quarterback has ever played won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think that it's tough. You know, Jaden did some amazing things this year, but it's still stepping stone. But I think we have a very bright future.
Yeah, hats off to our team, man. They fought hard, but they wasn't themselves. You know, one of the things I want to see these guys just play a good game, and then whatever happens at the end happens. But this Philadelphia Eagles team is too good of a team for you to come here and have self-inflicting, miscues and think you're going to be in this ball game. 9 penalties, 4 turnovers. That's the half of the battle right there. I mean, that right there alone will cause you to lose a game.
Yeah. So, tough loss, Commanders fans. There's no denying it. But I want to emphasize a few things right off at the top. As hard as it is to hear, the Philadelphia Eagles are just straight up a better team. And this is what I said going into this game. You know, I said if both teams are just playing their best, and the Eagles are going to win. The Eagles are just a better team. Because, the Commanders did themselves no favors with some of these turnovers, but, the Eagles made a lot of those turnovers happen. And that one interception, Jaden Daniels is just, at this point, just trying to do anything. Just like how I've removed the interception away from Jared Goff, I'm going to remove it from Jaden Daniels. But the Eagles were 7 for 7 in the red zone. So again, it's one thing if some of those turnovers were just like miscues and then scooping scores by the Eagles or pick sixes, then you could say, if we take those away. But the Eagles then still went off and scored. Saquon Barkley starts off the game for the first drive, touchdown, boom. Jalen Hurts was comfortable the whole time. Jalen Hurts was, 20 for 28, 246 yards, 8.8 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, throwing, 3 touchdowns rushing, and no, they were not all brotherly shoves. He had a big touchdown run, 110 rating. Saquon Barkley was 15 carries for 118 yards. So it's just, it's a tough one. It is absolutely a tough one. And the things that stuck out to me more than anything was the Commanders did not come out with that energy that we saw them come out with against the Buccaneers, against the Lions. Those teams, those games, it felt like the Commanders, they were like, we are here. We are coming. This is our time, our house, let's go. They did not feel that way in Philadelphia. And I know the fans are different in Philly. It is different. It's outside. The crowd's insane. The Philadelphia Eagles fans have wild fans. There's no disputing that. Because then you have De'Ami Brown, right, that fumble, and then he's slamming his helmet down. And I'm watching it. I'm like, no, you can't have that. You can't have that. That's not what you do in these games. You can't come apart in these games. It was just one play. It was a bad play, but the game was still in the balance. Throughout this game, the game was still in the balance. There were still moments when it was like, okay, if the Commanders score here, it's only like a 3-point game or a 6-point, because the score kind of got a little weird with the 2-point conversions. Like, it was kind of like, all right, here we go. But they were never able to get it. They couldn't get the run game going, which is not a surprise because they struggled before. Jaden Daniels was the leading rusher, 6 carries for 48 yards. But he was 29 for 48. Again, they were asking Jaden to throw the ball 48 times. 48 times. And I know they were down, but it was still like Jaden. That's a lot. It's just a lot. And again, they couldn't run the ball. Eckler was 6 carries. Let me see here. 6 carries for 14 yards, 2.3 yards per carry. Robinson was 11 carries for 36 yards, 3.3 yards per carry. You're not going to win playoff games like that. And it can't be all Jaden. Like I said going to this game, Jaden was going to have to be a hero and awesome. And it's true. He did in order for them to win. But you still need the other players around you. You still need the other players around you to make plays. The defense to step up. To not go 7 for 7 in the red zone. Every time Philly got in the red zone, touchdown. That's 49 points right there. It's, again, so we can talk about the turnovers, and that's why I wanted to emphasize. The turnovers were absolutely bad. No one's disputing that. But at the same time, they could not fundamentally stop the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a lot easier of a pill to swallow when you have these turnovers. If it's a scoop and score or something like that, because then you could be like, the defense actually played really well and this or that. It wasn't necessarily the case. The Philadelphia Eagles defense was on the field forever in that first half because the Eagles scored really fast. And then there was another moment, and I still don't know what I think the right decision was. When the Commanders were going for it on 4th down, they converted some huge 4th down conversions, and then they kicked the field goal. And that stuck out to me. On one side, I'm kind of like, okay, take the points. That's good. And I appreciate it because a lot of times I'm screaming, take the points. But then I'm kind of like, well, that's interesting. Because that's, what was it, like 4th and 3 or something? Or what, it was still within range. And I'm kind of like, huh. the Commanders are kind of conceding points here, which means they have trust in their defense, which was not necessarily the reality. It was a lack of respect for the offense, for the Philadelphia Eagles offense. They were more afraid of the Bucks offense, of the and I shouldn't say afraid, like respect, more respect of the Bucks offense, of the Lions offense. That's why they were so much more aggressive, and the Commanders weren't. And they took the points. And again, it's one of those things where if you take the points, it's I celebrate it. And if they don't take the points and they go for it and they don't get it, I'm like, why did you do that? Like it's one of those tough situations. But it did stick out to me because it was the first moment where I was like, ooh, this doesn't feel like Commanders ball right now. There was just no level of intensity. And again, you can only ask Jaden Daniels to do so much. 29 for 48, 255 yards, 5.3 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, which I take away, that interception, and a 77.8 rating, which again, I don't know what his rating would have been if you removed that interception because the game was over at that point and you're just trying to throw it up there. But I think this is a great learning experience, and that's what you also saw with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles showed their experience, and you saw this with Zach Ertz. I've been screaming to the Washington Commanders all season long, Zach Ertz, Zach Ertz, Zach Ertz. And who was the big guy in these big moments? It was Zach Ertz because he's been there before. He has more playoff games in one season than the Commanders' entire roster. So it's just like he's been there. And he was the one that was focused. He was the one that was grounded. He had everyone else kind of falling apart at times. And this is a tough loss, but at the same time, there should be just nothing but joy. You reached the NFC Championship game. You have more playoff wins, or I guess the same number of playoff wins than the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott in his entire career. You went up against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are an awesome team. I know it's a tough thing to accept, but the Philadelphia Eagles, this is their second Super Bowl in 3 years. That's not accidental. I know how opposing fan bases want to always kind of explain away the success or even the dominance and the greatness of these other teams, and I always encourage fans, don't do that. Don't do that, because also then if you beat them, it's not that impressive. Like Eagles fans would say, oh, the Commanders are overrated. I'm like, no, they're not. The Commanders are an awesome team, and the Eagles beat them. Okay? Like, Jaden Daniels is special. Jaden Daniels is special. He was not a problem in this game. I mean, think about it. The rookie quarterback was not the problem in this game. He was doing everything he could. He had a couple bad throws, sure. But he made plays. That cutback for the touchdown, the pickup on the third or fourth downs with his legs. He made some beautiful throws. But it's tough when you can't establish the run game, especially against a great Eagles defense like that, as well as now when the Eagles offense, once they have the lead, it just opens up the door for them. There's this misunderstanding of who the Eagles offense is, where it's like, oh, take away Saquon and well, they still can do stuff. They can still throw the ball. Again, that's why a lot of Commanders fans, it's interesting. Eagles fans were telling me how Jaden Daniels not that good, and Commanders fans were telling me how Jalen Hurts is not that good. And I'm like, guys, you both got it wrong. These are two great quarterbacks, man. Yes. Are they maybe Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in their prime today? No. But these guys can still make plays. They can still show up. So I think, again, all in all, I still think this was a great positive year. Again, NFC Championship game, that is an accomplishment in itself. That's an accomplishment for every single team that's not already out there winning Super Bowls. That's why they celebrate just reaching the NFC Championship game or the AFC Championship game. Heck, even the Chiefs celebrate getting to the AFC Championship game. That's why in the NFL, they even keep track. They'll say, oh, Andy Reid, this coach and that coach has 9 NFC Championship game appearances. This, and it gets counted because it means something. It's a championship game. We live too much in this, all or nothing Super Bowl or bust, kind of mentality where we then undervalue the significance, the importance of this. And this is a stepping stone, league. So Jaden Daniels getting to the NFC Championship game in year 1. This is the worst team he's going to have. The Commanders, honestly, or they're going to learn from going up against the Eagles. They're going to say, we got to boost up our defense. We're going to work on that O-line. And then we're going to now try to stop us. So in a lot of ways, this is a great moment. And Jaden Daniels needs to learn how to lose in order to win. Just like Mahomes. Just like Mahomes. Just like all of the greats. You got to learn to lose. You got to learn to just have a moment really go terribly wrong. Jaden Daniels needs to have the moment. This is what I said about Caleb. That's what I say a lot about a lot of quarterbacks. You need to be sad. You need to look in the mirror. You need to question yourself. You need to say, oh, did I fail? Am I not good enough? Will I ever be good enough? Will I ever get back here again? Because that's how you learn how to wrestle with that doubt. That's how you learn. That's the only way you learn. And then the next time you are in this moment, when things are kind of a little, a little tough, you don't just crumble. You don't slam your helmet down. You don't get in fights on the sideline. You don't need to be consoled. You're just like, all right, next play. We're good. Happens. Let's go. And I love that. Jaden Daniels had a bad throw. Could have been intercepted. I think even Tom Brady was like, ooh, not a good throw. Next play, boom. Beautiful throw. Beautiful play. That's what you need. And Jaden Daniels embodies that. And Jaden Daniels is a leader of this team, but he was only a rookie. It's hard to be a leader when you're a rookie. It really is. Year 2, year 3, year 4. His personality, his leadership will actually truly be able to turn into the culture of the Washington Commanders team. It'll permeate that entire franchise and organization. That's when you start winning these games. The Commanders simply were not ready just yet. They did not have the team. They did not have the team. They did not have the maturity, the experience. They just didn't. It's just the way it goes. But again, I want to emphasize so much. This was an amazing season. Top to bottom, left and right, up and down. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Commanders fans should have nothing but happiness. I know you're a little sad, but it's kind of like someone passing away who lived until they were 125. It's like, yeah, they're no longer with us, but they lived until they were 125. Like, this is more of a celebration. This is no time for tears. We'll talk about it all this week as well. I'll be making videos on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. But those are just my thoughts for now. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What did you guys all think about this game? How do you feel it unfolded? Are you upset? Are you happy? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.